You have given enough to this day. It asked for your attention, and you gave it. It asked for your effort, and you gave that too. It called for your patience in places where patience did not come easily, and still you found some. It placed small decisions in front of you, one after another, and you kept choosing. It brought voices, needs, delays, unfinished things, and moments that required more from you than anyone else could see. You met as much of it as you could. The day has been paid in full. Nothing more is owed from you now. Not one more explanation. Not one more repaired conversation. Not one more answer found in the dark. Not one more problem solved while your body is asking to be still. The account of these hours can close without argument. What remains unfinished can remain unfinished. What was imperfect can be left as it is. What you wish you had done differently does not need to be tried again inside your mind. The day has taken what you had to give. Now it is over. You do not have to keep handing pieces of yourself to hours that have already passed. You do not have to return to the morning and correct your tone. You do not have to step back into the afternoon and become more patient than you were. You do not have to revisit the evening and search for the exact moment when you should have known better. The past few hours are not waiting for a better version of you to arrive. They are complete enough. You can let the door close on them without slamming it. You can leave the room of this day without putting every chair back in place. You can walk away from what happened without carrying every detail into the night. There is no prize for staying mentally awake beside what can no longer be changed. Your effort counted. Your care counted. Your trying counted, even where the result did not look the way you hoped. There were things he held together today that nobody noticed. A face you kept composed. A reply you softened, a worry you carried quietly because someone else needed steadiness from you, a task you finished while part of you wanted to stop, a responsibility you met even though your energy had already begun to thin. There may have been a moment when you almost said, "I cannot do any more." Then you did one more thing. Not because you were endless, not because you had nothing else to feel, not because it was easy. You did it because something or someone depended on you, or because you had grown used to being the person who keeps moving. You may have answered while your mind was crowded. You may have listened while your own heart was asking to be heard. You may have made space for another person's frustration while hiding your own. You may have put a practical need ahead of an emotional one. You may have smiled at the right time, nodded at the right time, and carried on in the way people have come to expect. All of that costs something. Even love costs energy when it has to travel through a weary body. Even kindness can become heavy when it is offered all day without a place to set down. Even ordinary things can ask too much when they arrive one after another with no quiet space between them. You are not imagining the weight of this day. It may not have been dramatic. It may not have looked difficult from the outside. There may be no single event that explains why you feel so spent. Sometimes it is not one great burden. Sometimes it is the 1,000 small ways you kept adjusting yourself. You remembered what others forgot. You noticed what needed doing. You carried the tone of the room. You sensed when someone was upset. You made sure the necessary thing happened. You thought ahead. You held back words that might have made a hard moment harder. You stretched your patience past the place where it felt natural. You told yourself you would sit down later. You told yourself you would think about your own feelings when there was time. You kept waiting for the part of the day that belonged to you. Perhaps it never quite arrived. Still, you made it here. There is something tender in admitting that the strong face was work, the calm voice was work, the responsible choice was work. The part of you that kept everyone from worrying was working too. Strength is not weightless. Reliability is not free. Being the person others can turn toward can become a quiet form of labor, especially when no one asks what it takes from you. You may be carrying words you did not say. You may be carrying a look someone gave you. You may be carrying concern about tomorrow, concern about money, concern about a person you love, concern about whether you are doing enough, whether you are enough, whether you will be able to keep going in the same way. These concerns often wait until the room grows quiet. All day, they stand at the edge while you are busy. Then the moment there is no task in front of you, they step closer. They ask to be reviewed. They ask to be predicted. They ask you to imagine every possible outcome and prepare yourself for each one. You do not have to obey them now. A concern can be real without needing your attention at this hour. A question can matter without being answered before morning. An uncertain future can remain uncertain while your eyes close. You are not neglecting your life by leaving some things unsolved. You are refusing to spend tomorrow's strength on tonight's fear. The mind sometimes believes that staying alert is a form of protection. It keeps replaying the conversation so the hurt will not surprise you again. It keeps rehearsing the next day so nothing will catch you unprepared. It keeps searching for the missing answer because uncertainty feels unsafe. The mind is trying to help. You do not have to scold it. You can thank it for all the doors it has been checking. You can thank it for trying to guard what matters. You can tell it that its work is finished for now. There is no need to pull every thought away by force. No need to make the inside of your head perfectly quiet. Quiet can come in its own time. For now, it is enough to stop following every thought. Let one pass without climbing inside it. Let another remain unfinished. Let a memory appear and fade without asking it to explain itself. There is no test here. You do not have to prove that you can relax properly. You do not have to perform peace. You do not have to become a different person before you are worthy of care. You can arrive exactly as you are, carrying the day in uneven pieces, and still be received with kindness. Your body knows more about what this day required than your words may be able to say. It knows the shoulders that stayed lifted. It knows the jaw that tightened while you remained polite. It knows the breath that stayed shallow while you hurried. It knows the stomach that held uneasiness. It knows the eyes that kept looking at one more screen, one more message, one more thing to finish. It knows the feet that kept you standing. It knows the hands that kept doing. It knows the part of your chest that grew heavy when nobody noticed you needed comfort too. Your body has been keeping the full record. Not to accuse you, not to make you feel that you have failed. It has simply been living through each moment with you. Maybe you did not notice how much you were bracing. Maybe you moved from one demand to the next before you could feel the effect of the last one. Maybe there was no safe moment to loosen. Maybe other people needed you to stay capable, and you answered that need in the only way you knew. You became useful. You became dependable. You became the one who could handle it. That can be a beautiful thing. It can also leave you lonely in ways that are hard to name. When people believe you can carry a great deal, they may forget that carrying still hurts. When you are good at appearing steady, others may not see the effort behind it. When you do not ask for much, the world may assume you need very little. But needing comfort does not erase your strength. Wanting care does not make you demanding. Reaching the end of your energy does not make you ungrateful. You are a human being with a body, a mind, and a heart that have limits. Limits are not character flaws. They are the tender edges that remind you that you were never meant to give without returning to yourself. There may have been people today who needed more than you could comfortably provide. You may have given it anyway. There may have been work that required a brighter version of you than you felt. You may have offered that version anyway. There may have been small disappointments you pushed aside because they seemed less important than everything else. They still touched you. A delayed answer can touch you. A cold tone can touch you. Being overlooked can touch you. Seeing another task appear when you were already full can touch you. Having to explain something you thought was understood can touch you. Realizing that someone did not consider your needs can touch you. None of these things has to become a great tragedy to deserve acknowledgement. A heart can grow heavy from small, repeated impacts. A person can become drained without one clear reason. You do not need a dramatic story to justify the way you feel. You do not need evidence. You do not need permission from someone who had an easier day. You know what it cost you to move through these hours. My dear, you do not have to compare your weariness with anyone else's before you take it seriously. There is no ranking of burden that must be completed first. Some days are hard because something terrible happens. Some days are hard because nothing stops happening. Some days are hard because you have been responsible for too long. Some days are hard because the heart has been carrying something older beneath every ordinary task. You may have been living through more than today. You may have brought yesterday into the morning because it was never fully set down. You may have carried last week inside your muscles. You may have entered these hours already depleted, then asked yourself to move as though you were starting fresh. That is a great demand to place on anyone. You have been doing the best you can with the energy available to you, not the energy you wish you had. That difference matters. It is easy to judge yourself by an imagined version of your strength. The version who wakes clear, moves easily, says the right thing, completes every task, and still has warmth left at the end. That imagined person is not the measure of your worth. You are not failing because your energy changed. You are not falling behind because your heart needed more time. You are not becoming less capable because some things feel heavier than they once did. A season of strain can make ordinary tasks feel unfamiliar. A long period of giving can make simple decisions feel larger. A heart that has not been given space can become quiet, not because it has no thing to say, but because it is tired of waiting. There may be a part of you that does not even know what it needs now. That is all right. You do not have to identify the perfect form of comfort. You do not have to explain the full shape of what hurts. You do not need a clear plan for becoming whole. You only need to stop asking more of yourself for these few hours. The day has already received your contribution. It has no further claim. You can stop serving it now. You can stop standing at its doorway. You can stop listening for one last request. No one from the past hour is entitled to your inner attention forever. No unfinished task has the right to follow you into every quiet moment. No mistake deserves an endless hearing. No future possibility needs to be solved before your body can lie down. You are still responsible for your life. But responsibility has an evening boundary. There is wisdom in closing. There is wisdom in saying, "This is enough for today." There is wisdom in leaving some strength unspent. There is wisdom in not answering every thought. There is wisdom in letting the body become more important than the list. You may feel resistance as you hear this. A part of you may whisper that stopping is dangerous, that if you stop, something will be missed, that if you become less watchful, the world will become less safe, that if you do not keep everything in mind, the whole structure may loosen. This part of you learned to survive by staying ready. It deserves compassion. It does not need to be removed. It needs to know that readiness is not required every hour. It needs to feel that the night can hold what you are no longer carrying. It needs repeated evidence that you can loosen without everything falling apart. That evidence can begin very quietly. You do not have to release the whole day at once. You can stop holding one conversation. You can set down one unfinished task. You can leave one question unanswered. You can let one person be responsible for their own feelings. You can forgive yourself for one imperfect moment. You can decide that one concern belongs to morning. Small endings are still endings. Even a little less weight changes the way the body meets the bed. You might be someone who cares so deeply that stepping back feels like abandonment. You may believe love means staying mentally present for every person, every problem, every possibility. Yet love that never lets you return to yourself becomes painful for the one who gives it. Your care does not disappear when you close your eyes. Your loyalty does not weaken when you become unavailable for the night. Your goodness does not need constant proof. The people you love are not protected by your exhaustion. The future is not improved by your self-neglect. You are permitted to belong to yourself again. Not forever, just here, just in these quiet hours. You may have spent the day being spoken to by demands. The alarm spoke, the phone spoke, work spoke, family spoke, deadline spoke, responsibilities spoke, the needs of the room spoke. The needs of your own mind spoke louder whenever everything else became still. Now another voice can be heard. It is not urgent. It does not ask you to become more. It does not measure your usefulness. It says that you have done what you could. It says the day is closed. It says your effort is not being questioned here. It says you may stop presenting your case. You do not have to convince the night that you deserve tenderness. Nothing is being weighed against you now. Not the message you forgot, not the tone you regret, not the task still waiting, not the tears you held back, not the tears that came, not the moment you lost patience, not the moment you withdrew, not the moment you did not know what to do. Human days contain uneven moments. A caring person can become impatient. A strong person can become overwhelmed. A calm person can speak from strain. A loving person can need distance. None of this cancels what is good in you. You do not become unworthy because your capacity was reached. You become someone whose capacity was reached. That is all. There is no moral failure in needing to stop. There is no shame in wanting the world to ask nothing from you for a while. There is no selfishness in returning your attention to the life inside your own body. You have spent enough of yourself for one day. Let that sentence be true without argument. You have spent enough of yourself for one day. There may still be love inside you. There may still be responsibilities waiting. There may still be things you wish to improve. They can all remain. You do not have to empty your life of meaning before you become still. You only have to stop answering every meaning at once. The quiet does not require you to solve it. The darkness does not require a plan. The bed does not ask for your achievements. This hour does not need the most capable version of you. It can receive the one who is weary, uncertain, unfinished, and still deserving of care. You may feel a little ache when you realize how long it has been since you were cared for without needing to explain. You may be used to earning tenderness by reaching a breaking point. You may wait until you are completely empty before admitting that something is too much. You do not have to wait that long here. You do not have to collapse before you are cared for. You do not have to prove that you have reached the edge. The fact that you have been carrying is enough. The fact that you are here is enough. The fact that some part of you longs to be relieved is enough. There is no need to push that longing away. Let it be present. Let it say, I have done enough. Let it say, I need somewhere kind to land. Let it say, I cannot keep being strong in every direction. These words do not make you weak. They make you honest. Honesty is one of the ways the body begins to unclench. Not through force, not through a demand to calm down, through being met truthfully. Yes, you carried a great deal. Yes, some of it was invisible. Yes, you kept going beyond the place where it felt easy. Yes, you are allowed to stop now. The day will not be offended. The unfinished work will not be insulted. Tomorrow will not punish you for becoming quiet. What matters can wait outside these hours. What does not matter can fade. What cannot be changed can remain unchanged. You do not have to decide which is which right now. Your only task is to stop paying a debt that has already been settled. The day asked, you answered. The day took, you gave. The day ended. You are still here. That matters. Beneath the roles, beneath the competence, beneath the careful face, there is a person who deserves to be met without a request. A person who has been listening, adjusting, remembering, providing, and enduring. A person who may not need advice at this moment. A person who may only need the pressure to stop. Let the pressure stop here. Not everything in your life has to become easy for this moment to become kind. Not every relationship has to be repaired. Not every uncertainty has to disappear. Not every feeling has to be understood. A kind moment can exist inside an unfinished life. A peaceful hour can exist beside real problems. You can be concerned and still lie down. You can be grieving and still be comforted. You can be unsure and still be safe enough for the night. You can be responsible and still become unavailable. You can love everyone and return to yourself. Nothing good in you is lost when you stop. The heart does not close because the eyes do. Care does not end because attention turns inward. Tomorrow's courage is not weakened by tonight's quiet. You are not leaving life. You are stepping out of its noise. The difference is important. You will return when morning comes. You will meet what needs to be met. You will make the next decision when the next decision belongs to you. You will find the next step when there is light enough to see it. You do not need to find it now. For these hours, the search can end. For these hours, the questions can remain where they are. For these hours, you can stop being the answer. You have given enough to this day. The day is paid. The door is closing. Nothing more is owed. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling the weight of what you have lived through. Weariness can make everything look like evidence against you. A slower thought can feel like failure. A forgotten detail can seem like proof that you are losing your strength. A short answer can make you believe you are becoming unkind. A need for quiet can look selfish when you are used to being available. But a depleted person is not a broken person. A full heart can become overwhelmed. A faithful mind can lose focus. A caring voice can become thin. A capable body can reach its limit. None of these moments tells the whole truth about you. They tell the truth about how much energy has been used. You may have been judging yourself for signs that were never meant to be treated as faults. The long sigh, the need to be alone, the difficulty choosing something simple, the irritation that appears when another request arrives, the tears that rise for no clear reason, the wish to close the door and hear no voices for a while. These are not always signs that you have become less loving. They can be signs that love has been moving outward for too long. You may have tried to correct yourself when what you needed was care. You may have called yourself lazy when your whole system was asking for less. You may have pushed harder because you were afraid that slowing down would reveal something unacceptable. Yet the body does not speak in accusations. It speaks in signals. A heavy head is not an insult. A tight neck is not a verdict. A mind that wanders is not a betrayal. The body is telling you what it has spent. It is showing you where effort has accumulated. You do not have to turn every signal into a character judgment. You can hear the message without attacking the messenger. You have been carrying. You have been adapting. You have been meeting life with the resources you had. Those resources are not infinite. No person can remain open, patient, alert, useful, and emotionally steady without being renewed. Even the strongest among us need hours when nothing is expected. Even the most loving need to step away from the needs of others. Even the most responsible need a place where responsibility becomes quiet. This is not weakness. It is design. Your body was never meant to live as though every hour were an emergency. Your mind was never meant to review every decision without stopping. Your heart was never meant to stay open to every concern at once. You may have learned otherwise. You may have learned that being valuable meant being useful. You may have learned that praise came when you needed little. You may have learned that love felt safer when you were easy to depend on. You may have learned to hide discomfort because someone else had more urgent needs. Those lessons can stay in the body long after the circumstances have changed. They can make slowing down feel unfamiliar. They can make receiving seem harder than giving. They can make you apologize for needs that require no apology. You do not have to argue with these old lessons. You do not have to defeat them in one night. You can begin by seeing them clearly. There is a difference between kindness and self-erasure. There is a difference between commitment and constant strain. There is a difference between strength and never stopping. You are not required to disappear in order to prove that you care. You are not required to run empty before your needs become valid. You are not required to become unwell before you take your own limits seriously. Sometimes the deepest kindness is very ordered, in Ari. Turning away from one more task, leaving a message until morning, putting down the object in your hand, ending the conversation inside your head, letting the body be horizontal, letting the room become dim, letting life continue without your supervision. You may feel that these things are too small to matter. Small kindnesses matter because the body understands repetition. It understands the way you treat it each day. It remembers whether its signals are heard or ignored. It learns from the moments when you choose not to push past the edge. Each time you respond with care, you teach your system that it does not need to shout. Each time you stop before collapse, you create a new kind of safety. Each time you admit that you have reached your limit, you make honesty less frightening. There may still be a voice that says you should have more energy. It may compare you to who you were in another season. It may compare you to someone whose burdens you cannot see. It may compare you to an imagined person who handles everything with endless grace. That voice is not an accurate witness. It does not know every night you went without enough renewal. It does not count the emotional labor no one thanked you for. It does not understand the private worry beneath the public smile. It does not remember every time you kept going while your heart was hurting. You do not need to live by its measurements. The amount you accomplish is not the measure of how much you deserve compassion. The speed at which you recover is not the measure of your goodness. The number of people you can carry is not the measure of your love. You are worthy before usefulness begins. You are worthy when your hands are still. You are worthy when your answer is not ready. You are worthy when you cannot be the strong one. This may be difficult to receive. People who have spent years taking care of others can feel uncomfortable when care turns toward them. The mind may search for a reason to get up again. It may remember an unfinished task. It may create a new concern because concern feels more familiar than receiving. You can meet this discomfort without obeying it. You can say, I know why you are here. You can say, you helped me through many days. You can say, you do not have to lead me through this hour. No part of you needs to be treated like an enemy. The vigilant part was trying to protect you. The productive part was trying to secure your place. The helpful part was trying to keep connection. The quiet part was trying not to create more trouble. Every one of these parts had a reason. Now they can be thanked. They do not need to be dismissed with anger. They can be told that the work has ended. The person who always prepares can stop preparing. The person who always listens can hear silence. The person who remembers everything can forget the list for a while. The person who steadies everyone can be carried by the bed beneath them. You do not have to feel completely calm for this to begin. Calm is not a doorway you must find before you enter. Your thoughts can still be moving. Your chest can still feel full. Your heart can still be uncertain. Care can meet you before any of that changes. You can be comforted while part of you is still tense. You can be safe enough while the mind is still learning. You can receive quiet before you know how to trust it. No perfect state is required. This matters because perfection can hide inside even the wish to recover. You may begin demanding that you relax correctly. You may become frustrated that your thoughts have not slowed. You may wonder why the body is still braced when you have already told it to stop. The body is not disobedient, it is careful. If it has spent many hours or many years staying ready, it may need time to believe that readiness is no longer necessary. It may loosen in small places first, a little less pressure behind the eyes, a little more space around the breath, a hand that is no longer gripping, a shoulder that settles by a fraction. Small changes are real changes. You do not need to chase them. The night can work with what is available. There is also an honest truth that deserves to be spoken with care. Quiet hours can support recovery, but they are not medical treatment. Ongoing exhaustion, burnout, or a low mood may deserve real support from a qualified professional, especially when daily life has become difficult or the heaviness keeps returning. Seeking help is not a rejection of inner strength. It is one form of using it. You are not meant to carry every burden alone. You do not have to wait until things become unbearable before speaking to someone. You do not have to prove that the problem is serious enough. A doctor, therapist, counselor, or trusted support person can help you understand what your body and mind have been trying to say. Care from others can stand beside the comfort of this hour. One does not cancel the other. You can receive warmth now and seek practical help when daylight returns. You can value these quiet moments while also honoring symptoms that need attention. You can be spiritual and practical. You can be hopeful and honest. You can trust your inner wisdom and still ask for skilled guidance. There is room for all of it. For now, you are not being asked to diagnose yourself. You are not being asked to solve the whole pattern. This hour is for reducing the demand. It is for remembering that you are more than your output. It is for helping the body move out of constant effort. When the body settles into sleep, many quiet processes continue without your direction. Muscles receive a chance to loosen from the positions they held all day. The nervous system can move away from alertness. The brain sorts through information, strengthens some memories, and lets other details become less sharp. You do not have to manage these processes. You do not have to instruct every cell. The body already knows how to use stillness. It has been doing this since before you had words. During the night, the mind does not merely switch off. It organizes. It files pieces of the day. It makes room. Feelings that seemed tangled can become less immediate after enough sleep. Problems may not disappear, but the way you meet them can change. A rested mind often has more space between a problem and its response. That space matters. It can make a difficult conversation more manageable. It can help a decision feel less crowded. It can return patience to a place where strain had taken over. It can make the same life look a little less impossible. None of this needs to be forced. Recovery often happens quietly. You may not feel it while it is occurring. You may not wake with every burden gone. Still, something can be restored. A little clarity, a little steadiness, a little more room inside the chest, a little more ability to meet what comes. The night does not need to create a miracle in order to be worthwhile. It can offer enough repair for the next step, enough distance from the hardest moment, enough energy to begin again without pretending yesterday did not happen. You do not need to demand complete renewal. The pressure to wake transformed can become another burden. Morning does not require a new person. It will receive you as you are, perhaps a little quieter, perhaps still carrying questions, perhaps needing more care than one night can provide. That is not failure. Recovery is not always dramatic. It can happen through ordinary cycles repeated over time. Food, water, stillness, support, boundaries, honest conversations, medical care when needed, small choices that stop the constant draining of energy. There is dignity in ordinary repair. The body does not need spectacle. It needs conditions that help it do what it already knows. Darkness, reduced demand, a place to lie down, a sense that no one is about to call it back into service. The mind needs something similar. It needs permission to stop producing, permission to leave a thought unfinished, permission to return to a problem with more light, permission to be less certain. You may have been using your mind as a night watchman, asking it to patrol every possible danger, asking it to replay each interaction for hidden meaning, asking it to prepare for disappointment before disappointment arrives. This constant watchfulness can feel responsible. It can also keep the whole system from settling. You can tell the watchman that the door is secure enough, not perfectly secure, enough. You can tell it that morning will have its own eyes. You can tell it that no useful answer is likely to come from circling the same fear while exhausted. You can tell it that vigilance has completed its shift. The mind may not believe you immediately. Say it without force. The shift is complete. The room is quiet. The next hours do not require a guard. Eve, and if thoughts continue, they do not need to be followed. They can pass like distant sounds from another room. Present, but not demanding action. Known, but not held. You are learning another way to be responsible. A way that includes renewal. A way that respects the limits of attention. A way that does not confuse suffering with devotion. You can love someone without thinking about them every minute. You can care about an outcome without rehearsing it all night. You can be committed without remaining tense. You can be prepared without punishing yourself. There is a form of strength that looks like staying. There is another form that looks like stopping. You have practiced staying. Now stopping can become part of your wisdom. Your life is not asking you to abandon what matters. It is asking you to return with more of yourself intact. The people you care for do not need your disappearance. Your work does not need your collapse. Your future does not need every remaining drop of energy tonight. You are not a machine being switched off. You are a living person entering a necessary rhythm. Effort and quiet, giving and receiving, movement and stillness, attention outward, attention home. This rhythm has always been part of life. The heart beats and releases, the lungs fill and empty, muscles tighten and loosen, the mind focuses and drifts. Nothing living remains in one state forever. You do not have to remain capable every moment. You do not have to remain cheerful. You do not have to remain available. You do not have to remain certain. A period of quiet does not erase your identity. It restores dimension to it. You are more than the one who handles things. You are also the one who feels, the one who needs warmth, the one who wants reassurance, the one who sometimes does not know, the one who deserves to be cared for before reaching the end. There may be sadness beneath the exhaustion. There may be anger. There may be grief for how long you have gone without being truly seen. You do not have to open all of it now. You can acknowledge that it exists. You can say, "There is more here than I have had time to feel." You can say, "I will not shame myself for carrying it." You can say, "I will meet it when I have support and strength." Not every feeling must be processed in the dark. Some feelings need daylight. Some need another person. Some need professional care. Some need weeks or months of patient attention. You do not have to complete that work before you close your eyes. The heart can remain unfinished. It is still worthy of comfort. The body can remain tense in places. It is still moving toward ease. The mind can remain busy. It is still receiving the message that no task is due. This is enough for now. Enough does not mean everything is solved. It means the demand has stopped growing. It means you are no longer adding blame to strain. It means you are not using the last part of your energy to judge the energy that is gone. You can stop asking why you are not stronger. You can begin asking what would be kinder. Kindness may be silence. It may be warmth. It may be less light. It may be putting the phone farther away. It may be deciding that a decision can wait. It may be remembering that you have survived uncertain mornings before. You do not need to make all these choices perfectly. One kind choice is enough to change the direction of the hour. You have already made one by coming here. You have turned toward care instead of another demand. You have created a space where no one needs an answer. You have chosen a voice that does not ask you to hurry. Let that choice count. Let it be part of the new evidence. Evidence that you can respond before breaking. Evidence that your limits can be honored. Evidence that you can care for yourself without abandoning anyone. evidence that your life can continue while you become still. The body is not asking you to earn this. It is asking you to receive it. There is a difference. Earning keeps the mind working. Receiving lets the effort end. You do not have to bring a reason. You do not have to bring a perfect record. You do not have to prove how hard the day was. The bed beneath you does not ask for evidence. It takes your weight as it is. It does not compare what you accomplished with what you hoped to accomplish. It does not ask whether you were patient enough. It does not ask whether you deserved a better ending to the day. It supports the body that arrives. That is all. You can learn from that kind of support. Support without interrogation. Support without a deadline. Support without asking you to be impressive first. You may not be used to this. Let unfamiliar kindness remain unfamiliar for a while. You do not have to understand it before it helps. You can lie here with doubt. You can lie here with one eye still turned toward tomorrow. You can lie here with a mind that has not fully stopped. The body can still begin its quieter work. Breathing continues. The heart continues. The night deepens. Nothing asks for your command. There is great relief in remembering how much life happens without your control. You do not make the heart beat. You do not carry each breath by hand. You do not sort every memory consciously. You do not rebuild energy through effort. Some things happen because you stop interfering. Some things return because you become unavailable to demand. Some strength comes back when it is not being watched. You can let the body know that it will not be pushed any further. You can let the mind know that no answer is expected. You can let the heart know that feeling deeply did not make it foolish. The day did not expose a flaw in you. It revealed a need, the need for less pressure, the need for care, the need for honest limits, the need for hours that do not have to be useful. You are not becoming less. You are returning from overextension. You are not falling apart. You are recognizing what has been spent. You are not failing to keep up. You are listening to the cost of keeping up for too long. There is wisdom in that listening. There is courage in it too. It may be easier to keep pushing than to admit you need support. It may be easier to stay busy than to feel how empty you have become. It may be easier to call yourself weak than to question the demands that have shaped your days. But you do not have to choose the easier cruelty. You can choose the harder kindness. You can believe your body. You can respect your mind. You can stop arguing with your need for recovery. Nothing is wrong with you for reaching the end of your energy. Nothing is wrong with you for wanting to be cared for. Nothing is wrong with you for needing more than one night. You are human. You have limits. You have needs. You are still whole. The body has never needed you to supervise every part of its renewal. It has always known how to continue when your thinking becomes quiet. It has always known how to slow the pulse, lower the effort, and turn inward toward the work that cannot be done while you are rushing from one demand to another. You may have forgotten this because so much of life asks for your direction. You plan, you decide, you remember, you prevent, you correct, you prepare, you carry tomorrow in your mind before tomorrow has even arrived. But the deeper processes of life do not wait for your instructions. They begin when there is room. The body uses stillness in ways you cannot always feel. It eases what has been tightened. It gives the mind distance from the sharpest edges of the day. It lets thoughts lose some of their urgency. It lets the nervous system discover that no new demand is entering the room. This does not mean every pain disappears before morning. It does not mean one quiet night solves what has taken months or years to become heavy. It means that stopping has value even when the result is not immediate. The value is already present in the stopping. Each hour without demand gives something back. Each moment in which you are not required to perform gives the inner world a different message. It says that life is not only taking. It says that your body is not only a tool. It says that you are more than the tasks you complete and the people you reassure. You are also a living being who needs periods of shelter. Shelter may be as simple as dim light, a closed door, a blanket pulled higher, a room in which no one needs a reply. The absence of pressure can become its own kind of care. There are parts of you that have been waiting all day for this absence. The muscles around your eyes, the space behind your forehead, the tongue that has been forming careful words, the back that has supported you through one more hour, the hands that have opened, lifted, typed, cleaned, carried, prepared, and reached. They have not been asking for praise. They have been asking for an ending. Now the ending is here. You do not need to improve it. You only need to stop extending the day beyond its natural boundary. The mind may continue to send messages from the hours before, a fragment of conversation, a face, a forgotten detail, a future task appearing as though it must be completed now. Let the messages arrive without treating each one as a command. The mind often repeats what it has not yet filed away. Repetition does not always mean danger. Sometimes it means the day is being sorted. Sometimes it means an emotion has not found its place. Sometimes it means the system has not fully understood that work is over. You can answer with the same calm truth. There is no action required now. The thought may return. There is still no action required now. The concern may present itself more clearly. Morning can meet it. The memory may sharpen. You do not have to step back inside it. You can let thoughts exist without giving them your remaining strength. This is one of the quiet gifts of lying down. The body begins teaching the mind that not everything needs a response. The weight beneath you says that you are supported. The darkness says that seeing farther is not necessary. The still room says there is nowhere else you must be. You may not believe these messages immediately. Belief is not required. The body can receive care before the mind agrees. The shoulders can lower while worry remains. The jaw can loosen while uncertainty remains. The breath can lengthen while the future remains unwritten. The body does not need every problem to be solved before it begins to ease. It only needs enough evidence that this moment is different from the ones that came before it. No one is asking. No one is waiting at the edge of the room. No task is being placed into your hands. No clock is measuring your usefulness. The conditions are changing. You are no longer standing inside the day. You are moving into a quieter place where effort is not the price of belonging. Imagine a cold night. The kind of night that makes the floor feel sharp beneath bare feet. The kind that leaves the corners of the room cool and the window glass faintly clouded. Outside, the air is still. The world has folded into darkness. The house carries the deep silence that comes when every doorway has settled. The bed has been prepared before you arrive. Someone has taken the time to run a warm iron across the flannel sheets, not in a hurry, not as a task performed carelessly. The iron moved slowly over the fabric, passing from one edge to the other, leaving a quiet warmth behind. The cloth was smoothed. The cool creases gave way. The place where your body would lie was tended before your weight reached it. Nothing was asked of you during this preparation. You did not have to stand nearby and direct it. You did not have to explain how cold you felt. You did not have to earn the kindness. The sheets were warmed because someone knew that the night would be cold and wanted your arrival to be easier. That is all. Care can be that simple. It can happen before you ask. It can meet you before you find the right words. It can prepare a place where your body does not have to struggle against one more thing. You come to the bed carrying the chill of the day. It may be in your hands. It may be in your feet. It may be somewhere deeper, in the places that have felt alone while you kept moving. You lift the edge of the cover. The air beneath it is warmer than the room. You slide into the flannel. The cloth does not startle the skin with coldness. It meets you with warmth already waiting. The bed has been made ready for the person you are now, not the person you were expected to be. It does not ask you to warm it with your own body first. It has already been kind to you. Let that image stay near, a place prepared before your arrival, warmth offered before explanation. Kindness that does not wait for collapse. You have spent so much time entering places where you had to adjust yourself first. Rooms where you read the mood before speaking. Conversations where you measured every word. Responsibilities where you had to become capable before you were ready. This is different. Here, the care has moved toward you. The fabric receives the shape of your body without complaint. It does not resist the weight you bring. It does not tell you that you are too much. It does not ask you to lie differently so it can remain smooth. The sheets change around you. They make room. The warmth gathers near the places that need it most, around the feet that carried you, along the legs that kept going, across the back that bore the day, near the shoulders that lifted each time another need appeared. The bed does not need a full account of what happened. It knows only that you have arrived. Sometimes being cared for begins there, not with a solution, not with advice, with arrival. You are here. The door is closed. The covers are drawn around you. The cold does not get the final word. You may have lived as though care must always come after proof, after enough work, after enough giving, after someone sees how close you are to breaking. But the warmth in these sheets was not waiting for proof. It was prepared because the night was cold. Your need does not have to become extreme before it matters. You do not have to become completely empty before kindness can meet you. You do not have to explain why the day reached so deeply into your energy. Cold is enough reason for warmth. Weariness is enough reason for quiet. Being human is enough reason to be cared for. You can let the flannel hold the warmth, close. Flannel does not shine. It does not try to impress. Its comfort is humble. The fabric is woven to keep warmth near the skin. It is useful in the most tender way. It does not announce what it is doing. It remains beneath you and around you, offering its simple service without asking to be noticed. There are forms of care like this in your life, even when they are difficult to see. The glass of water placed near the bed, the light turned low, the message you choose not to answer. The alarm set a little later when possible, the decision to ask for help. The moment you stop pretending that everything is manageable. None of these actions needs to be grand. They are small movements of warmth across the fabric of your life. They prepare a place for you to return. You may be learning how to do this for yourself, not through pressure, not by turning care into another task to perfect, by becoming someone who notices the cold and responds with warmth, someone who sees the strain and reduces the demand, someone who understands that preparation can be loving. You can prepare kindness for the version of you who will arrive later. You can leave tomorrow less crowded. You can say no before resentment grows. You can ask another person to carry what belongs to them. You can stop filling every open space with work. You can create a place where your future body does not have to meet every surface cold. These choices are not selfish. They are the warm iron moving ahead of you. They are care offered before the ache becomes unbearable. You may not always have someone nearby who knows how to prepare comfort for you. That truth can hurt. There may have been nights when no one noticed. There may have been seasons when you gave care that did not return in the same form. You do not have to deny that loneliness. You can honor it without letting it become the final truth of this hour. Even now, care can be practiced. The fabric beneath you can become evidence. The weight of the cover can become evidence. The fact that you have chosen to stop can become evidence. You are not completely abandoned to the cold. You are creating warmth where you can. You are letting the night become less harsh. That matters. Perhaps the strongest part of you is accustomed to being the one who warms the sheets for everyone else, the one who prepares the room, the one who notices what will be needed, the one who tries to make another person's arrival easier. You know how to move ahead of someone else's discomfort. You know how to anticipate. You know how to tend. Now imagine that the same attention has turned toward you. The room has been prepared for you. The sheets have been warmed for you. The cover has been lifted for you. No one is asking you to return the favor. You can slide in without promising to do anything tomorrow. You can receive without calculating how you will repay it. This is often difficult for the person who gives most naturally. Receiving can feel unfinished. It can create the urge to respond immediately, to balance the account, to make sure no one has offered more than you have. But care is not always an account. Some kindness is complete when it is received. The warmth has nowhere else to go. It was made for this moment. Let it reach you. Let it settle around the ankles. Let it move up through the legs. Let it gather beneath the hips and lower back. Let it reach the place between the shoulders where so much effort has been stored. You are not taking too much. You are letting the preparation fulfill its purpose. The iron passed over the sheets so that this first moment in bed would not demand more from your body, so the skin would not tense against cold fabric. So there would be one less thing to endure. One less thing can make a difference. One less question. One less obligation. One less harsh thought. One less demand placed on a body that has already given enough. You do not need every burden to disappear. Let one burden leave. You do not need complete peace. Let one part of you stop bracing. You do not need certainty about tomorrow. Let this hour remain separate from it. The warmth does not ask whether you believe in morning. It only meets you now. There is something deeply reassuring in care that stays close to the body. It does not live in a distant promise. It is here, beneath the hand, along the arm, near the cheek. The flannel has texture. It is not perfectly smooth. Its tiny fibers create a surface that catches warmth and keeps it near. It is comfort made through closeness. The fabric does not need to be flawless to be kind. You do not need to be flawless either. Your uneven places do not make you unfit for tenderness. Your mistakes do not turn warmth away. Your difficult feelings do not make the bed reject your weight. You can come with everything. The worry, the regret, the anger you did not express well, the sadness you could not explain, the part of you that still wants an answer. the part that is afraid to trust, the part that has become used to disappointment. All of you can enter. The covers do not have to choose which part is most deserving. You are received as one whole person. The warmth touches the guarded places without trying to open them. It does not force the fist to unclench. It does not demand that the chest become light. It remains near long enough for the body to decide what it can release. This is how trust often returns. Not through a command, through repeated kindness without pressure, a warm place, a quiet voice, a boundary respected, a need believed, a promise kept. The body learns from these experiences. It learns that closeness does not always bring demand. It learns that stillness does not always bring danger. It learns that being cared for does not always create debt. You may be teaching it now, very slowly, with no examination at the end. The warmth stays. You do not have to hold it in place. You do not have to concentrate on it. It remains in the fibers, surrounding the body even when the mind wanders. Let your attention wander. It may return to the day. It may move toward morning. It may search the room for something to solve. Each time, there is still fabric beneath you. There is still warmth. There is still nothing required. You can return without scolding yourself. There is no wrong way to come back. You are not failing because the mind travels. The bed has not withdrawn its kindness. The sheets remain prepared. You may begin to understand that renewal is not an achievement. It is not something you produce through greater discipline. It is something that becomes more possible when you stop interrupting it with demand. You cannot order yourself into deep renewal. You can create better conditions, less noise, less urgency, more honesty, more support. A place where the body is not forced to defend itself from one more cold surface. Then you let the inner processes continue. Some nights will feel easier than others. Some nights the mind may settle quickly. Some nights it may circle for a long time. The value of lying down is not erased by the circling. Warmth still reaches the body. The load is still reduced. You are still choosing not to add another task. This choice is meaningful even when the experience is imperfect. You may wake during the night. You may have dreams. You may shift beneath the covers. You may need to adjust the pillow or change position. None of this means the quiet has failed. Bodies move. Minds pass through different depths. Comfort is not complete stillness. It is having a kind place to return to each time you stir. The flannel remains there. The warmth may change, but the fabric continues to surround you. You do not have to begin again from the beginning. You are already inside the care. This can be true emotionally too. A difficult thought does not remove you from kindness. A moment of fear does not cancel every bit of ease. A sudden memory does not mean you have lost all progress. You remain inside the place you prepared. You can turn over, draw the cover closer, feel the surface beneath your hand. Return to the simple truth that no task is due. The night has room for every small return. You do not need to rush toward unconsciousness. You can be where you are. The body is already benefiting from less movement and less demand. The eyes are no longer scanning the day. The hands are no longer serving every request. The feet are no longer carrying you from one place to another. You have entered the part of the night where doing gives way to being. Being may feel unfamiliar. It may seem empty at first, but emptiness is sometimes space that has not yet been filled with peace. You do not need to fill it yourself. Stay near the warmth. Let the quiet deepen around you. The room does not need a performance. The bed does not need gratitude spoken correctly. The fabric does not ask you to become peaceful before it offers comfort. It was warmed before you arrived. The kindness came first. Let that be the lesson. Kindness can come first, before improvement, before explanation, before perfect readiness, before you know how to receive it. Care does not have to wait until every part of you agrees. The warmth can meet the doubt. The fabric can meet the guarded body. The night can meet the unfinished heart. Nothing needs to be completed before you are covered. Nothing needs to be earned before the cold is answered. You are here now. The place has been prepared. You can stop standing at the edge. You can let your whole weight arrive. Your whole weight can arrive without apology. The bed does not tense beneath you. The flannel does not ask you to make yourself smaller. The warmth does not retreat because you came carrying too much. It stays close to the shape that is here. Let that be enough for this moment. You do not need to know how deeply you will settle. You do not need to predict when the mind will become quiet. You do not need to decide how quickly the body should change. Warmth has no schedule for you. It does not hurry across the fabric. It remains where it was placed, ready to be felt whenever your body is ready to feel it. Some places may receive it quickly, others may remain guarded. Both responses belong. The feet may recognize comfort first. The shoulders may take longer. The hands may loosen before the chest does. One side of the body may feel heavier than the other. There is no correct order. You have spent enough of your life being measured by speed, how quickly you replied, how quickly you understood, how quickly you recovered, how quickly you returned to being useful after something hurt. That clock has no place beneath these covers. The warmed fabric does not compare one part of you with another. It does not become impatient with the places that still feel cold. It keeps offering the same steady closeness. You can learn from that. You can stop asking why one feeling remains. You can stop demanding that the body trust before it is ready. You can stop turning comfort into another deadline. There is no finish line hidden in this hour. Nothing is waiting at the end to congratulate you for becoming peaceful quickly. No one is judging the time it takes for your breath to lose its edge. No one is counting how often the mind returns to worry. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not taking too long. The day may have treated slowness as a problem. The night does not. Here, slowness is a language of care. The IRO moved slowly because haste would not have warmed the fabric evenly. It passed over each area with enough time for the heat to enter. It did not rush toward the far edge and leave the middle cold. Care that lasts is rarely careless. It pays attention. It returns to the places that need another pass. It accepts that warmth reaches different areas at different times. You deserve that same patience from yourself, not a strained patience that waits while secretly demanding change, a patient kindness that stays without watching the clock. You may have told yourself that you should be over something by now, a loss, a disappointment, a season of fear, a wound caused by someone who may never understand its depth. The word should can make the body brace. It can turn an honest process into a private failure. It can make you hide the places that still need warmth. There is no shame in needing another pass, no shame in returning to the same tender place with more care, no shame in discovering that what looked finished still has a cold edge. The fabric can be warmed again. The cover can be drawn closer again. Kindness can return without accusing you of needing it. This is how care becomes trustworthy. It does not say, "I already helped you once." It does not say, "You should not need me anymore." It does not say, "Hurry and become easier to carry." It remains available. The part of you that has been rushed may not know what to do with this. You may be used to moving before you are ready because other people became uncomfortable with your pace. You may have learned to smile before sadness had finished speaking. You may have returned to work while the body still felt far away. You may have said that you were fine because explaining the truth seemed more tiring than carrying it alone. You adapted. You shortened your needs. You made your pain easier for others to witness. You learned how to appear restored before restoration had truly begun. That adaptation may have helped you survive difficult rooms. It does not have to lead this one. There is no audience here that needs reassurance. No one needs you to look better. No one needs a hopeful answer. No one needs you to turn what happened into a lesson before it has settled. The covers can hold the unfinished truth. You are still affected. You are still learning. You are still finding your way back. You are still worthy of warmth. These truths can exist together. You do not have to choose between being strong and being tender. Strength can be the hand that stops pulling you forward. Strength can be the decision to remain where care is present. Strength can be refusing to abandon yourself simply because recovery is taking longer than expected. The body has its own pace. The heart has its own pace. Trust has its own pace. None of them responds well to being chased. If you have been telling yourself to move on, Let those words become quieter. You do not need to remain trapped in "wow, it happened." But moving forward does not require pushing the tender parts behind you. They can come too, slowly, wrapped in warmth, not dragged, not ordered, not left alone. The fabric around you can become a promise that no part of you will be forced to cross the night before it is ready. You are not dividing yourself into acceptable and unacceptable pieces. You are not carrying only the strong parts toward morning. Everything belongs beneath the cover. The part that believes in better days, the part that doubts, the part that forgives, the part that is still angry, the part that wants closeness, the part that fears being hurt again. You do not need to settle the disagreement among them. They can lie down together. Warmth does not take sides. It surrounds. It reaches each part without asking which one deserves more. You may feel emotion rise as the pressure lowers. Sometimes the body waits until it senses safety before revealing what it has carried. A tear may come. A deep sigh may leave. An ache may become more noticeable when you stop moving. This does not mean you are getting worse. It can mean that you are no longer using all your energy to stay composed. Let whatever comes remain small enough for this hour. You do not have to open every door. You do not have to follow every feeling to its origin. You can say, "I know you are here." You can say, "You do not have to explain yourself now." You can say, "There is room beneath this cover." A feeling can be acknowledged without becoming the whole night. It can lie beside you. It can become less sharp. It can wait for daylight if it needs deeper attention. You are not rejecting it. You are choosing the right conditions. Some things need warmth before words. Some things need quiet before meaning. Some things need to be carried for a while without being questioned. You may have questioned yourself enough. Why did I react that way? Why am I still affected? Why can I not be stronger? Why does this feel harder for me? These questions can sound like a search for understanding, but sometimes they are blame wearing a thoughtful voice. You do not have to interrogate your heart to care for it. You can begin with warmth. Understanding may come later. The sheets were not warmed after asking whether your coldness was reasonable. They were warmed because cold had reached the room. Your discomfort does not need a defense. Your need does not need a debate. Care can respond before the explanation is complete. Let the fabric become warmer where your body has been still. Feel how closeness changes the temperature. What was prepared before you arrived now continues because you remain. Receiving is not always passive. Sometimes receiving means staying long enough for kindness to reach the places that habit has taught you to protect. You may want to turn away from it. You may feel the urge to think about someone else. You may remember a task. You may suddenly decide that now is the perfect time to solve a problem that has waited all day. This is not failure. It is the old movement toward usefulness. The part of you that feels safest while doing something may be searching for its familiar ground. You can reassure it. Nothing is being taken from you. You are not losing your place. You are not becoming irresponsible. You are lying inside warmth that was prepared for you. That is all. You can stay for one more quiet moment. Then another may follow without being requested. You do not have to make a promise about the whole night. Only remain where you are. The body already knows the weight of the cover. It knows the texture beneath the fingers. It knows that the cold air is outside the protected space. This small boundary matters. Outside the covers, the room may still be cool. Inside, warmth gathers. Your life may still contain uncertainty. Inside this hour, no answer is due. The world may still be moving. Inside this bed, movement can end. A boundary does not have to change everything to be real. It only needs to create one place where the demand cannot enter. You can imagine the edge of the cover as that boundary. The day stops there. Other people's expectations stop there. The conversations you are replaying do not need to come beneath it. They can remain outside. Not rejected forever, postponed with care. You can meet them when your strength has had time to return. The cover is not avoidance. It is protection for what is being restored. You would not pull warm sheets away from someone and tell them to prove they could endure the cold. You would not call them weak for drawing the fabric closer. You would understand that warmth helps the body settle. Offer yourself the same understanding. You have endured enough coldness in the name of strength. Cold words, cold rooms, cold silences, cold expectations that treated your effort as though it cost nothing. You do not need to reproduce that coldness inside your own mind. The voice within you can become warmer, not falsely cheerful, not pretending everything is fine. Warmth can tell the truth without cruelty. It can say, "This was hard." It can say, "You reached your limit." It can say, "You need more support." It can say, "We will take the next step after renewal." The inner voice does not have to become perfect tonight. It only needs to stop making the room colder. Let one harsh sentence end. Replace it with no sentence at all if kinder words feel too far away. Silence is better than self-attack. A neutral truth is enough. I am here. The day is over. The bed is warm. Nothing is due. These truths do not demand belief. They describe the place you are in. The mind may say, "But tomorrow is outside the cover." The mind may say, "But what if?" What if is outside the cover. The mind may say, "But you should have." Should have belongs to hours that are closed. You do not need to fight these thoughts. You can place them beyond the warm edge and return to the body. the fabric beneath your cheek, the weight near your shoulder, the warmth around your feet, the way the mattress receives rather than demands. You can return many times. Each return is not a beginning. It is a continuation of care. There is a sentence for this part of the night. It does not command. It does not promise a perfect morning. It gives the body room to move in its own time. Let it arrive as though it were being laid across you with the cover. Warmth waits as I soften in time. You do not need to say it aloud. You can hear it without reaching for it. Warmth waits as I soften in time. Let the words remain loose. No effort around them. No demand to feel different. Warmth waits as I soften in time. The warmth is not impatient. It does not leave when the mind becomes busy. It does not disappear because one muscle is still tight. It waits without accusation. You can soften in time, not someone else's time, not the schedule written by expectation, not the pace required by productivity, your time. The time the body needs to believe, the time the heart needs to come closer, the time the mind needs to stop checking the door. There is dignity in your own pace. You are not a problem being processed. You are a person being cared for. The difference can be felt. A problem is hurried toward a solution. A person is accompanied. A problem is measured by progress. A person is valued while change is incomplete. A problem becomes inconvenient when it remains. A person remains worthy through every stage. You are not an inconvenience to this night. Your continued need does not exhaust the fabric. Your uncertainty does not make the cover withdraw. You can take the time you take. If the core sentence feels too far away, there is a smaller place to begin. The warmth can stay. That is enough. You do not have to soften yet. The warmth can stay. You do not have to trust yet. The warmth can stay. You do not have to know whether morning will feel easier. The warmth can stay. This is the smaller willingness, not a promise to change. A willingness not to send kindness away. You may not be ready to receive it fully. You can let it remain nearby. You may not believe that you deserve it. You can let it remain nearby. You may feel numb. You can let it remain nearby. The body may learn from its presence before the mind finds words. There is no shame in numbness. Sometimes numbness is the cloth the heart wrapped around itself when everything felt too sharp. It was protection. It was a way to keep going. You do not need to tear it away. Warmth can reach through slowly. The iron did not burn the flannel into readiness. It moved with care. Too much heat would have harmed what it meant to comfort. Let this remind you that more force is not the answer. You cannot force openness without creating another reason to close. You cannot bully the body into trust. You cannot shame the heart into feeling safe. Care uses another method: steady closeness, low demand, warmth that remains. This method may seem too quiet for a world that praises visible effort, yet quiet care can reach places that force never could. It can reach the part of you that stopped asking, the part that became good at saying, "It is fine," the part that learned not to expect anyone to prepare comfort, the part that decided needs were safer when hidden. That part may be watching. It may be waiting to see whether this kindness has conditions. Let it watch. Do not pressure it to come closer. The warmth stays. The bed stays. No debt is being created. No favor will be demanded. You are not being prepared to give more tomorrow. You are being cared for because you exist now. This distinction matters. Care is not maintenance performed only to return you to work. Your value is not found in how productive you become after a quiet night. The body is worthy of renewal, even if tomorrow is slow. The mind is worthy of less pressure, even if clarity takes time. The heart is worthy of tenderness, even if it cannot offer anything in return. You are not an instrument being tuned for someone else's use. You are a life. A life deserves warmth. You can let that truth remain simple. No grand belief is required. A life deserves warmth. A life deserves a protected hour. A life deserves care before collapse. You are included. There may be grief in realizing how often you excluded yourself, how quickly you made room for others, and how rarely you believed your own needs could occupy space. Do not use this realization as another reason to blame yourself. You learned through experience. You did what seemed necessary. Now another experience is becoming possible. A bed already made kind. A place that does not ask you to serve. Warm fabric near the skin. Time that does not chase. You are not repairing the whole past. You are creating one different moment. One moment can be real without fixing everything. It can become a new reference. The body can remember that there was a night when warmth waited, a night when no one hurried it, a night when the cover remained while the mind wandered, a night when it was not punished for needing longer. This memory may be quiet. It may live not as a thought, but as a little less tension the next time you lie down. That is how care accumulates. Not through one dramatic transformation, through many experiences of being met. You are being met now. At the pace that is yours, with nothing to prove. The warmth is still here. You can soften when you soften. You can remain guarded where protection is still needed. You can trust one small area before the rest. There is no demand for completeness. Let the feet be warm. Let the hands be empty. Let the forehead be free from decision. Let the cover remain near the chin. You do not have to travel farther than this. The night is not pulling you towards sleep. It is staying beside you until you are ready to drift. No one is rushing you here. You do not have to move any farther than the warmth already around you. The body can begin where it is. No position needs to be perfect. No breath needs to be deeper than it wants to be. No part of you needs to become loose all at once. The fabric beneath you is not waiting for a performance. It is already doing what it came to do. Let the body feel the difference between being supported and being asked to support. All day your muscles answered the needs of movement. They lifted you, balanced you, carried you, reached for what had to be reached, and stayed ready for what might happen next. Now they can receive the weight they have been carrying. The mattress takes the back, the pillow takes the head, the flannel stays close to the skin. You are not required to keep yourself upright. You may not realize how much effort has remained in the body even after lying down. A slight lifting of the shoulders, a quiet gripping in the hands, a tension in the legs as though they may soon need to stand. The body can keep preparing long after there is nowhere to go. Do not criticize it. It has practiced readiness. Now it can practice being received. Begin with the top of the head, not by concentrating hard, but by remembering that even this small area has been part of the day. The scalp tightened when you worried. It responded when you hurried. It carried the heat of thought without asking for attention. Thank the top of your head for carrying the pressure you could not name. As the breath leaves, let the scalp release what it no longer needs to hold. The forehead has been a place of effort. It lifted with surprise. It gathered with concern. It held the questions that did not find an answer. Thank your forehead for showing how deeply you cared. As the breath leaves, let the forehead become unoccupied. The space around the eyes has worked through light, screens, faces, movement, and the constant act of seeing what needed your attention. Thank your eyes for looking after the details. As the breath leaves, let the muscles around them give up their watch. The eyelids do not have to close perfectly. They can rest where they fall. They do not need to guard the room. Thank your eyelids for protecting what is tender. As the breath leaves, let them become heavier than the thoughts behind them. The cheeks have carried expressions for other people. They held you look calm when you were uncertain. They lifted when kindness was needed. They became still when you did not want anyone to see too much. Thank your cheeks for helping you move through the day. As the breath leaves, let them stop arranging themselves for anyone. The jaw has held many unsaid things. Words you softened, words you swallowed, words you decided were not worth the conflict. Thank your jaw for trying to protect the peace. As the breath leaves, let the teeth separate and the hinge loosen. The tongue has formed explanations, answers, names, and reassurances. It has helped you communicate even when you would rather have been silent. Thank your tongue for every careful word. As the breath leaves, let it lie quietly in the warmth of the mouth. The throat has carried the voice and the feelings that never became sound. It has tightened around tears, around anger, around the wish to say that something was too much. Thank your throat for carrying both speech and silence. As the breath leaves, let the throat stop preparing the next sentence. The neck has turned toward every call, every noise, every person who needed your attention. It has kept the head lifted through hours of decision. Thank your neck for all the directions it followed. As the breath leaves, let the pillow receive more of its weight. The shoulders have carried what could be seen and what could not. They rose each time responsibility entered. They remained ready even when you wanted them to drop. Thank your shoulders for their long service. As the breath leaves, let them sink toward the warmth beneath them. The upper arms have reached outward. They have lifted, held, pushed, pulled, and gathered. Thank your upper arms for every act of care. As the breath leaves, let them grow quiet beside you. The elbows bent whenever action was needed. They helped the hands move toward the world. Thank your elbows for their steady work. As the breath leaves, let them become free of purpose. The forearms carried the effort of every small task. Their work was easy to overlook because it was constant. Thank your forearms for the unnoticed labor. As the breath leaves, let the fabric take their weight. The wrists turned and adjusted through countless movements. Thank your wrists for their flexibility. As the breath leaves, let them stop preparing to reach. The hands have done so much. They have held phones, doors, cups, tools, clothing, food, papers, and perhaps the hand of another person. They have fixed what could be fixed. They have continued when the rest of you was weary. Thank your hands for everything they completed. As the breath leaves, let the palms open as much as they wish. The fingers can stop counting, typing, holding, and checking. Thank your fingers for each small act that helped the day continue. As the breath leaves, let them curl into whatever shape feels natural. The chest has expanded through every hour. It has protected the heart while carrying feelings that changed from moment to moment. Thank your chest for making room for breath even under pressure. As the breath leaves, let the ribs stop lifting against the day. The heart has kept its rhythm beneath every thought. It has carried affection, disappointment, concern, gratitude, and longing without asking you to understand them all. Thank your heart for staying with you through everything. As the breath leaves, let the space around it become less crowded. The upper back has supported the posture you presented to the world. It held you steady through conversations and responsibilities. Thank your upper back for helping you appear stronger than you felt. As the breath leaves, let it spread into the bed. The place between the shoulder blades may still hold the memory of effort. It may feel as though something remains there. Thank that place for bearing what had nowhere else to go. As the breath leaves, let the warmth meet it without asking it to change quickly. The middle back has adjusted through sitting, standing, leaning, and carrying. Thank your middle back for every quiet correction. As the breath leaves, let it stop correcting anything. The lower back has carried your center. It has supported movement through moments when energy was low. Thank your lower back for keeping you upright. As the breath leaves, let the mattress carry the center now. The belly has responded to every feeling. It tightened before difficult moments. It held uncertainty. It knew things before the mind admitted them. Thank your belly for telling the truth in its own way. As the breath leaves, let it become free from being pulled inward. You do not need to make it smaller. You do not need to protect yourself by tightening. The fabric can rise and fall with the body exactly as it is. The hips have helped you turn, stand, sit, and move forward. Thank your hips for carrying the change from one step to the next. As the breath leaves, let them settle deeper into support. The pelvis has been a quiet foundation beneath so much effort. Thank this foundation for holding your weight. As the breath leaves, let it be held in return. The thighs have carried you through distance, stairs, waiting, standing, and the moments when you almost had no energy left. Thank your thighs for continuing. As the breath leaves, let their strength become still. The knees have bent again and again. They have helped you lower yourself and rise. Thank your knees for meeting every change in level. As the breath leaves, let them stop preparing to stand. Time twos. The calves have carried the rhythm of walking. They have tightened each time you moved toward what was needed. Thank your calves for every step. As the breath leaves, let the warmth travel through them. The ankles have balanced you over uneven moments and ordinary floors. Thank your ankles for keeping you steady. As the breath leaves, let them become heavy. The heels have met the ground for you all day. Thank your heels for each landing. As the breath leaves, let them press into the bed without resistance. The arches of the feet have carried your weight in silence. Thank them for supporting the whole of you. As the breath leaves, let the soles stop remembering the floor. The toes have helped with balance through movements so small you rarely saw them. Thank your toes for their quiet work. As the breath leaves, Let them become still beneath the cover. Your whole body has been thanked, not because it performed perfectly, because it stayed with you, because it carried you through a day that used real energy, because every part did what it could with what it had. You do not need to check whether each area released enough. This is not an inspection. Some places may feel unchanged. Some may become more noticeable. Some may already have drifted beyond your attention. Let every response be accepted. The body is not a collection of problems. It is your oldest home. It has been receiving every experience, every environment, every harsh word, every kind touch, every long hour, and every moment of relief. It deserves to be addressed with respect, even when it aches, even when it does not respond as quickly as you wish, even when it asks for more care than your plans expected. You can stop treating the body as the obstacle between you and productivity. It is the life that has carried all productivity. It is the life that has carried every relationship. It is the life that has carried every hope. You are not separate from its needs. Caring for it is not an interruption of your life. It is part of your life. The warmed flannel remains close as each area settles in its own way. The fabric does not evaluate where tension remains. It keeps the same temperature near the skin. There is no disappointment in the cloth, no impatience in the cover, no demand in the bed, only support. You may save this place for a future heavy night, not because you expect hardship, but because you deserve to remember where kindness can be found when the day has taken too much. You can return without explaining. You can return without starting over. The warmth will not ask where you have been. For now, nothing needs to be saved except your remaining strength. The room has become less important. The edges of the day have moved farther away. Your body may still hear a sound. It does not need to follow it. A thought may still appear. It does not need a reply. The breath may remain small. It is still enough. You are moving from effort into quiet by degrees that cannot be measured. A little less readiness, a little more weight, a little less concern about doing this well, a little more trust in the surface beneath you. You do not need to feel yourself crossing into sleep. You do not need to catch the moment when thought becomes dream. That moment belongs to the body. Your work ends before it arrives. The warmth stays as awareness becomes lighter. It stays when words become harder to follow. It stays when the mind loses the thread. You are not required to keep listening. You are not required to remember. You are not required to reach the end of a sentence. The flannel has already received you. The body has already begun to give its weight away. Let the first person words fall lightly now. They are not promises you must keep. They are small places where the mind can land until it no longer needs language. I have given enough. I am no longer on duty. I receive the bed beneath me. I let the day remain finished. I am not required to answer. I can leave questions for daylight. I am safe enough in this room. I receive warmth without earning it. I let my hands stay empty. I let my shoulders be carried. I release the face I wore today. I release the words I swallowed. I release the work of appearing fine. I am more than what I completed. I am worthy while doing nothing. I can be cared for now. I do not need to hurry inward. I can soften in my own time. I let the cover remain close. I trust one quiet moment. I let one thought pass. I leave one worry outside. I receive what is here. I am not being measured. I am not being tested. I am not falling behind. I have nowhere to perform. I let the body become heavy. I let the mind become loose. I receive the warmth prepared for me. I am met as I am. I let myself be supported. I can stop preparing. I can stop explaining. I can stop carrying. I am here. I am warm. I am supported. I am enough. I am quiet. Twos. I am still. I receive. I soften. I settle. I loosen. I remain. I am safe. I am here. I am held. The words can become fewer now. There is less to say. The body understands weight. The body understands warmth. It understands the cover drawn near. It understands that the feet are no longer touching the cold floor. It understands that no movement is required. It understands that the hands are empty. It understands that the eyes do not need to look. You can let language become texture, a low voice, a quiet room, warm cloth, heavy limbs, nothing due, no next step, no answer, no hurry. The day cannot enter again. It has spent its time. The hours ahead belong to stillness. You are inside the care now. You do not have to hold it. You do not have to help it. The warmth can do its quiet work near the skin. The bed can keep receiving your weight. The breath can come and go without being watched. Thought can thin. Awareness can drift. The body can stop waiting for another request. There is no request. There is no task. There is only this prepared place. You have arrived in it completely enough. The night can take you from here without asking you to understand how. You have done enough of the work that belongs to waking hours. You have named what was heavy. You have stopped adding blame to strain. You have remembered that the body is not failing when it asks for less. You have let warmth come close without requiring yourself to deserve it first. Nothing more needs to be achieved. The room can keep its silence. The cover can keep its place. The bed can continue holding what you have stopped carrying. You may still be aware of a few thoughts at the edges. They may be quieter now, or they may remain bright. Either way, they do not need to be removed. They can stay where they are while another part of you begins to drift. A thought is not a command. A memory is not a doorway you must walk through. A concern is not a hand pulling you back into the day. You can hear them from a distance. You can let them grow less important without deciding whether they are true. The warmth around you does not argue with the mind. It does not try to win. It stays near the body while the mind slowly loses interest in keeping watch. The flannel has one simple way of caring. It keeps warmth close. It does not chase the cold through every room. It does not fight the winter outside. It creates a small protected place around the person who has come to lie down. You can do the same inside yourself. You do not have to solve the whole world. You do not have to make every part of life safe before you close your eyes. You only need this small protected place. A little warmth around the body. A little distance from demand. A little time in which nothing is owed. Let that be enough. The word enough may have been difficult for you during the day. There was always another thing that could be improved, another message that could be answered, another way you could have been more patient, more prepared, more available. Enough may have kept moving farther away. Here, it can stop. Enough is the body lying down. Enough is the phone left unanswered. Enough is the list waiting outside the covers. Enough is the heart no longer being asked to prove its goodness. You have reached enough. You do not need to cross beyond it. The warmth beneath you was prepared before your arrival, and now it has become part of the bed. It is not something you must continue creating. You can let it remain without effort. The body may begin to feel heavier, not burdened, received. There is a difference between heaviness that comes from carrying and heaviness that comes from being carried. One asks the muscles to keep working. The other tells them their work is over. Let this heaviness be the second kind. The head can be heavy because the pillow is willing. The arms can be heavy because the mattress has room. The legs can be heavy because no road is asking for another step. The whole body can become heavy because the night has somewhere to place it. You do not need to keep yourself lifted. You do not need to stay ready to rise. Morning knows how to find you without your help. It will come in its own time. Light will reach the edges of the room. The air will change. The world will begin again. You do not need to begin it early. Let morning remain where it belongs. It is not standing beside the bed with a list. It is not asking you to prepare. It is still far enough away for this quiet to deepen. There may be things waiting when it arrives. They do not need to be denied. You can trust that the person who meets them will have something you do not have now. A little distance from today, a little more energy, a little more clarity. Perhaps not everything you wish for, but something returned. You do not have to decide what that something will be. Renewal can happen without being watched. The body can take what it needs from these hours. The mind can sort what it can. The heart can remain beneath the cover without explaining itself. This night does not need to fix you. You are not broken. It does not need to transform you. You are already worthy of care. It does not need to erase the difficult parts of your life. It only needs to stop asking you to carry them for a while. Let the difficult things stand outside the warmth. They will still exist when you are ready to meet them. You are not abandoning them. You are placing them down with intention. There is tenderness in choosing not to touch a burden again until your hands have recovered. There is wisdom in waiting kafir, or daylight, before reading what was written in fear. There is compassion in refusing to ask an exhausted mind for its best answer. You can trust this pause, not as an escape, as a boundary, as a return, as a way of saying that your life matters enough to be met with more than depletion. You have been faithful to many things, faithful to people, faithful to duties, faithful to promises, faithful to the idea that you should keep going. Now you can be faithful to the body that carried every one of those commitments. You can be faithful by staying still. You can be faithful by not picking the day back up. You can be faithful by letting this warmth complete what it began. The sheets were warmed so you would not have to meet the cold alone. You do not have to meet every hard thing alone. Not every concern must be held privately. Not every ache must be translated into strength. Not every long season must be endured without support. When daylight returns, there may be someone you can speak to. There may be help you can accept. There may be a boundary you can name. There may be one responsibility that no longer belongs only to you. You do not have to plan that conversation now. It is enough to remember that help exists beyond self-reliance. The strong person within you does not have to disappear. It can become strong enough to receive. strong enough to tell the truth, strong enough to say that the pace has become too much, strong enough to leave something unfinished, strong enough to believe that care is not a reward for collapse. These forms of strength may feel quieter, they are still real. The world often notices the strength that moves, lifts, fixes, and endures. It may not notice the strength that closes the door, turns down the light, and refuses one more demand. Your body notices. Your heart notices. The night notices in the only way a night can, by becoming deeper around the person who has stopped fighting it. You can stop now. There is no hidden assignment inside these words, no final lesson you must remember, no phrase you need to repeat perfectly. The message has already reached the body. Nothing is due. Warmth is near. Your pace belongs to you. Let the meaning become less important than the feeling of fabric against the skin, the fine texture near the hands, the warmth beneath the legs, the cover resting over the chest, the pillow receiving the side of the face. You can stay with one of these sensations until it fades from awareness. If another thought appears, it can pass over the surface of the mind without entering deeply. If another worry arrives, it can wait beside the bed without climbing in. The protected place is small, but it is enough. Inside the cover, the body does not belong to the day. Inside the cover, your attention does not belong to anyone else. Inside the cover, you are not an employee, a caregiver, a problem solver, a peacemaker, or the person who remembers everything. You are a human being lying in warmth. Nothing more is required. You may have forgotten how to exist without a role. The roles can sleep outside. They will not disappear. They do not need to be guarded. You can return to them after these hours have given something back. For now, let your name become quiet. Let your history become quiet. Let the story of who you must be become quiet. The body does not need your story to continue breathing. It does not need your achievements to receive the bed. It does not need your plans to become heavy. It can lie here without explanation. There may be relief in becoming ordinary again. Not the one who carries everything, not the one who always knows. Only a person under a cover on a cold night. Only a person being met by warmth. Only a person who has reached the end of the day. This ordinary truth is sacred enough. You do not need a greater experience. You do not need a sign. You do not need to feel a sudden change. The fabric remains warm. The room remains quiet. The day remains closed. This is enough. Let the breath move as it moves. There is no need to shape it. Let the chest rise in the small way it chooses. Let the air leave without following it. Each breath can be another moment in which you do not have to intervene. The body receives air. The body lets it go. You are not responsible for the rhythm. You can be carried by it. The same is true of drifting. You do not make it happen. You become less involved. A sentence becomes harder to hold. A thought loses its ending. The room moves farther away. The body becomes the warm center of a world that no longer needs to be understood. You may already be near that place. You may still feel awake. Both are welcome. No one is rushing you from wakefulness. The warmth waits. No one is pulling you toward morning. The night has time. No one is measuring the distance between this moment and sleep. You can take the distance you take. There is no mistake in remaining aware. Awareness can become softer without vanishing. It can become a dim light behind a closed door. It can become a word that no longer needs an answer. It can become the simple knowing that you are here. Then even that knowing can loosen. You have spent the day moving toward what needed you. Now nothing needs you. Feel the relief of that sentence. Nothing needs you here. The bed does not need you to help it hold. The flannel does not need you to keep it warm. The darkness does not need you to watch it. The night does not need you to finish it. You can be unnecessary for a while, not unloved, not unimportant, free from being required. This freedom can feel strange when usefulness has been tied so closely to belonging. You may wonder who you are when no one is asking anything. You are still here. You still matter. You do not dissect. You pair when you are not serving. Your existence remains valuable when it is quiet. You do not have to fill the silence to prove you are present. You can let presence become weight, warmth, breath, the faint touch of fabric near the face, nothing else. You may remember a person you care about. Let them be held by their own night. You may remember a task. Let it remain where you left it. You may remember something you regret. Let the regret lose its voice until morning. The heart does not need to carry every image at once. It can close around the warmth that is here. The cold night outside continues without entering. The glass may remain cool. The floor may remain cold. The air beyond the cover may have its winter edge. None of that needs to be changed. You have found the prepared place. You have entered it. The warmth surrounds what needed shelter. This is the image to carry no farther than necessary. A bed already kind. A cover already near. A place that did not wait for you to ask. You do not need to hold the image. It can dissolve while the feeling remains. Warmth without picture. Kindness without words. Support without effort. The mind may be ready to release the last clear thread. Let it. Nothing will be lost. You do not need to remember this hour for it to help. You do not need to hear the final words. The body has heard enough. The deepest care does not require witnesses. It continues when attention fades. It continues when the listener no longer follows. It continues in the dark. There is also no deadline hidden inside your healing pace. You may have heard people speak as though every difficult season should have a clear end, as though the heart ought to follow a calendar, as though enough time passing should automatically make every memory light. Your inner life is not a schedule written for someone else's comfort. Some experiences settle quickly. Some change shape many times. Some become quieter only after you have been met with the care that was missing when they first occurred. You are not doing anything wrong if tenderness remains. You are not refusing to move forward because a part of you still needs reassurance. Forward movement can be almost invisible. It can be the moment you stop speaking harshly to yourself. It can be the decision to take one need seriously. It can be the way you no longer force a smile over an honest feeling. These are movements too. They may not impress anyone. They may not create a dramatic story. The body knows their value. It knows when pressure has been reduced. It knows when an old demand is no longer repeated. It knows when the voice within becomes less cold. The warmed sheets offer the same lesson without words. Comfort does not drag the body toward a destination. It creates conditions in which the body can settle by itself. Your pace does not need to be defended beneath these covers. No one is standing nearby asking why it has taken this long. No one is comparing your progress with another person's. No one is turning your tender places into evidence that you have failed. You can stop presenting explanations. You can stop gathering reasons. The part of you that needs more time can have more time. The part that is ready to loosen can loosen. The part that remains uncertain can be surrounded without being pushed. This is not a divided night. Every part belongs to the same person. Every part is covered by the same cloth. Every part is close to the same prepared warmth. You do not have to bring them into agreement. The hopeful part can lie beside the doubtful one. The strong part can lie beside the weary one. The forgiving part can lie beside the part that still remembers. They do not need to speak. They do not need to settle anything. They can all become quiet under the same cover. A life can contain contradictions and still deserve peace. You can love someone and need distance. You can be grateful and overwhelmed. You can believe in tomorrow and feel unable to think about it. You can know that things may improve and still need comfort now. Nothing about these mixed truths makes you dishonest. It makes you whole. The night does not ask you to simplify yourself. It receives the full person, the one who tried, the one who became frustrated, the one who stayed, the one who wished to leave, the one who cared, the one who needed care. Every version is permitted to stop. You may imagine the fabric being drawn a little more closely around all of them. No part left at the cold edge. No part told to wait outside until it becomes easier to love. There is room. The bed does not become smaller because your inner world is complicated. The warmth does not divide itself into portions and decide which feeling deserves more. It gathers, it surrounds, it remains. You can become less concerned with making sense. Sense can wait. Meaning can wait. The story can wait. This hour is not a courtroom. It is a prepared bed. You do not need to testify about the day. You do not need to prove what hurt. You do not need to persuade anyone that your limits are real. Your body has already spoken through its heaviness. That testimony is enough. Let the case close. Let every argument stop. Let there be no opposing voice. Only the quiet acceptance of the person who arrived. You arrived with the energy you had. You did what you could. You came here when you could come. Now care can meet you without asking why you did not arrive sooner. There is no punishment for lateness. There is no disappointment in the sheets. The place remained ready. It remained kind. It did not decide that you had missed your chance. You have not missed your chance to be cared for. Not in this hour, not in your life. Chaque. Care can begin wherever you recognize the need. It can begin after years of overgiving. It can begin after many nights of pushing through. It can begin with one boundary, one honest answer, one request for help, one decision to stop. It can begin here with the weight of your body finally being given somewhere to go. The beginning does not need to feel important. It can feel like almost nothing. A little warmth, a little less tension, a little less resistance to being supported. Small beginnings are still real. They do not need to announce themselves. They can enter quietly and become part of you while you sleep. You do not need to know whether this is a beginning. You can let it be a kind night. That is enough. The warmth can also teach you something about receiving without repayment. You may have spent many years turning every kindness into a future obligation. When someone helped, you remembered. When someone made space, you looked for a way to make space in return. When someone offered comfort, a part of you began preparing to prove that the comfort had not been wasted. This careful accounting may have kept relationships balanced. It may also have made it difficult to be cared for freely. The sheets do not ask for repayment. They do not ask you to wake early and become exceptional. They do not say that warmth must produce a better performance tomorrow. Their kindness is complete in contact. The body meets the fabric. The fabric gives what it holds. Nothing else has to happen. You can let this be one experience in which receiving creates no debt. You do not owe the bed a cheerful morning. You do not owe the night a peaceful mind. You do not owe these hours proof that you used them well. You are not being funded for future productivity. You are being sheltered because shelter is needed. That truth may reach a place deeper than thought, a place that has been waiting to receive without being evaluated afterward, a place that wants care to be care, not an investment someone will collect later. Let that place remain near the warmth. It does not need to make a speech. It does not need to promise anything. It can be quiet and still belong. There may be people in your life who love you, but do not always know how to offer this kind of care. They may care through advice, questions, solutions, or plans. Their love may arrive with movement because movement is what they understand. You are not ungrateful for needing something quieter. Sometimes the most loving response is not an answer. It is a prepared place. It is a person who does not ask you to explain. It is the feeling that you can stop talking and still be accompanied. You can recognize this need without judging anyone. You can learn to name it when daylight returns. You can say that you need listening before solutions. You can say that you need space without distance becoming rejection. You can say that you are not ready to decide. You can ask for the emotional equivalent of warmed sheets, care that arrives before another task is placed in your hands. No request needs to be planned now. The possibility alone is enough. You are not condemned to remain the only person who understands your needs. You can teach safe people how to meet you. You can learn which people are able to listen. You can choose professional support when the weight needs more skill than loved ones can offer. You can build warmth into the life that waits beyond this bed. Not all at once, not perfectly. One honest choice at a time. The future does not need to be designed in the dark. Let these possibilities become distant, like objects placed in another room for morning. They exist. You do not have to touch them. The protected place remains here, the fabric near your skin, the weight beneath your back, the quiet around your name. You have nothing to arrange. Another kind of tiredness may be present too. The weariness of always hoping that tomorrow will finally be the day when everything becomes easier. Hope can become work when it is forced to carry too much. You do not have to ask morning to rescue your whole life. Let morning be ordinary. Let it bring light, a first movement, a drink of water, a little time. It does not need to arrive with answers. It does not need to prove that this quiet was worthwhile. A modest morning can still be kind. You may wake and need to move slowly. You may wake with some of the same feelings. You may wake before the body feels fully renewed. there is room for that. The promise is not perfection. The promise is that you will meet yourself with less cruelty. You can carry the warmth forward in the way you speak inwardly. You can refuse to turn one difficult morning into a judgment about your whole life. You can recognize that restoration is sometimes incomplete and still valuable. A night does not fail because you remain human at dawn. The flannel did not promise to change the weather. It only kept the cold from reaching you in the same way. Care may not remove every difficulty. It can change how directly the difficulty touches the body. It can place a layer of kindness between you and what is harsh. That layer matters. A boundary matters. A supportive voice matters. Enough food matters. Medical and emotional support matter. A slower pace matters. Each becomes part of the fabric that keeps warmth near. You do not need to weave that fabric tonight. You are lying inside one thread of it now. Let the thread hold. Let the rest of the pattern remain unfinished. You are allowed to live inside unfinished care while building more. You are allowed to need what has not yet been created. You are allowed to begin with imagination when reality has been cold. Imagination does not replace real support. It can help the body experience a moment of tenderness while you move toward the support you deserve. This moment is not the whole answer. It is not pretending to be. It is a quiet companion. It says you do not have to be alone with every feeling for every hour. It says the body can receive one small kindness now. It says tomorrow can include real choices, real conversations, and real care. No more is needed from it. You can let hope become small enough to carry. Not the hope that everything changes. The hope that one thing can become kinder. One boundary, one answer. One person who listens. One morning in which you do not rush to punish yourself. One night in which warmth reaches you before coldness does. Small hope does not demand energy you do not have. It stays near. It waits. It does not pull. Let it remain beyond the edge of awareness. You do not need to keep it alive. The body can remember it on your behalf. The same body that remembers strain can also remember being met. It can remember the weight of the cover. It can remember that nothing was asked. It can remember that you were permitted to take the time you took. These memories may become part of how you care for yourself later. A softer refusal, an earlier ending, a more honest request, a willingness to seek help. You do not need to know which one. The warm place is enough for now. The body can take the lesson without naming it. Care came close. Care stayed. Care did not hurry you. You remained worthy while receiving it. There is one vow for the part of you that still believes it must keep moving. It is not a vow to improve. It is not a promise to wake different. It is a quiet action that belongs only to this night. I rest where kindness warmed the way. Let that line lie beside you. No repetition is required. No effort is needed. It can remain once and complete. I rest where kindness warmed the way. The way was warmed before you came. You have already crossed into it. The bed has been kind. The cover has stayed. The body no longer has to earn its place. Morning will not ask where you have been. It will find you here. It may find you still needing care. It may find you slower than the world prefers. It may find you with questions. Morning can receive all of that. There is no need to become ready for it now. Let morning do its own work. Let the light arrive later. Let the room remain dark. Let the warmth remain close. The day is not coming back. Its account is closed. Its demands are outside. Its unfinished pieces cannot reach beneath the cover. You are not responsible for carrying them through the night. You have carried enough. You have answered enough. You have held enough. Now the body can become quiet. The hands can remain empty. The jaw can remain loose. The shoulders can remain low. The feet can remain warm. The heart can remain human. Nothing must be fixed before sleep. Nothing must be forgiven before sleep. Nothing must be understood before sleep. Nothing must be released perfectly. You can drift with a little weight still present. The bed is strong enough. You can drift with one unanswered question. The night has room. You can drift with an imperfect heart. Warmth does not withdraw. There is no final test. There is only less and less to carry. Less of the room, less of the day, less of the story, less of the need to listen. Warmth, weight, quiet, nearer, lower, dimmer, still. No work, no hurry, no debt. Only warmth, only bed, only night. The cover remains. The room fades. The body knows. You are here. You are safe enough. You are finished for today. Let the last effort go unnamed. Let the next thought remain incomplete. Let the night close around you without asking you to notice. Rest now. Morning will be kind. The warmth will stay until dawn finds you.